Hello and welcome back to All Things Trentside, guys. How you doing? I hope you're all well. It's a bit of a late one this week. Well, with all the videos I've been uploading, but considering the time frame of the games, this is a late one considering how Forest played Tuesday and this is now going out on Thursday. But bear with me, guys. As you can probably appreciate, it's been a hard slog at the moment, going game by game and preview by preview, review after review, and so on. Like I say, it is something that I'm going to try and look at for next season, but of course, I'm one of them. I've got a little, I think OCD is the right word. I have to have things a certain way, and I couldn't just do now like the preview for the Preston game with a little bit about the Fulham game. I have to do a full Fulham review, then a full Preston preview, etc. But like I say, that might change next year. I'm going to sit down once the season's over and plan some more stuff and how to take this channel forward and to the next step, really. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, Forest did lose on Tuesday. Spoiler alert if you haven't. But yeah, Forest went down 1-0 at home to Fulham. Harry Arter scored the only goal of the game. We'll get onto that in a moment. But yeah, it was a bit of a kick in the teeth, really, for Forest. Especially after, of course, what happened on Saturday against Derby. We obviously wanted to come back at Fulham and really get into them and show people that we still meant, business. And that late goal wouldn't define our season. And of course, Fulham were in a good run of form themselves. No Mitrovic, but they'd won 2 games in a row, so it was always going to be difficult, no matter who you was playing in the top 6. But Forest record against the top 6 is normally good. We've only lost, I said in the preview, only lost 2 games to Cardiff, who really haven't been in the top 6 for all that long this season, and West Brom, who were in the top 2. Well, they were at the time of the game, but now they are top. Again, we'll get onto that in a moment. But yeah, we welcomed the Fulham side with no Mitrovic, but they're still looking to make it 3 wins in a row and keep their slim hopes of automatic promotion alive. Same with Forest, really, but we'll get on to Forest automatic promotion hopes. I don't think there's any now. But yeah, there was interesting team news coming out of the game. Of course, Joe Worrell, a lot of attention surrounding him, of course, after his mistake. Bryce Samba, I don't think got as much of the blame as he should have, but Joe Worrell definitely was going to be the one who was going to take the blame going forward, but he started. It was his 100th game as well, which, imagine if it had been Saturday, his 100th game, and he'd have done that. But it is good to see, having a homegrown talent make 100 appearances for the club. I'm not going to get onto the mistake for too long now. I think it's gone. You can be angry for it all you want, but you're never going to change it. As long as it doesn't cost us a playoff spot by a point, then we're not going to care. Whatever happens in the playoffs happens in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. It's the league season we're focusing on at the moment. But yeah, Joe Worrell made his 100th appearance, same back 4 as it usually is. And then in midfield, Sam Basso continued playing the back-to-back games, starting back-to-back games, should I say, since shaking off the knee injury he had at the start of lockdown, which saw him miss the games against Huddersfield and Sheffield Wednesday. But probably the big surprise was Ryan Yates dropped out of the team. Thiago Silva came in to replace him. I'm surprised because I thought Ryan Yates had done quite well going forward. He put his body on the line the past 2 times. Now, if he hadn't been in the squad for the 2 games, you would have thought, okay, maybe, it's because I think he broke his nose or had a facial injury and might have picked up a late on against Derby. I can't remember, he got clattered by in the box again. But if that had have happened, then fair enough. But I think Ryan Yates did well on Saturday, and he has continued to do well since coming into the team post-lockdown. But he dropped to the bench, which for me was a bit surprising. But we had Thiago Silva, of course. It's always a ready-made replacement. Playing his... I thought centre attacking mid was his favourite role, but apparently when I was watching the game, the commentators were saying that he prefers to play, in a deeper position, which I'm pretty surprised at given how creative he is, but they could be wrong. Who knows? But yeah, they also changed as well. Was Nuno da Costa dropped to the bench and Sammy Amiobi came in for a start again, which I'm very surprised about. I thought da Costa played really well on Saturday, and I think if it hadn't been for, if he'd played more centrally, he probably would have got a goal at least. Now, he's not going to get the central chance for the grabbing, so we've kind of turned him into a makeshift winger. But I thought he played well. I think Amiobi's a good impact player to have on the bench at the moment. He can stretch defences when he comes on in the latter stage of the game, like he did against Derby. So I was surprised that Amiobi come back into the squad, but he has been there all season. Da Costa has had obviously his injury problems since he's joined, so it was a weird one. But in Sabri we trust, we always say. So he went for probably as well, saying if you was to get picked Forest strongest 11 on paper, you'd probably go for the one he picked. He had no really arguments to who would be, he don't deserve to be in there, and he does. I think that's Forest's strongest 11. Hopefully, if we do make the playoffs, that'll be the team that's starting. But yeah, into the game, it was a pretty scrappy game. Not many chances going forward. Lewis Grabban had a half a chance. I think it was good defender from Michael Hector, kind of stood off him until he got into the box. And I can't remember, was it Tim Ream got back and made the tackle, or someone got in to make the block, took the sting out of the shot. I don't think it was troubling Rodak anyway. But Fulham didn't really create much either, which was surprising. The big news for them as well, their creative maestro Tom Kearney, who I did mention in the preview, was going to be Fulham's one to watch, didn't even play due to picking up an injury in the game against Birmingham. So I think Fulham were lacking that creativity as well going forward. Mitrovic as well to wind people up. I think Bobby Reid does a good job with his pace, but didn't really see him much in the game. But yeah, it seemed like it was going to peter out to a 0-0 at half time. Both teams not really doing anything to edge in front until probably a moment of brilliance. I think in them sort of games, you say, I think I mentioned it in the Bristol City game as well. I think when the games are like that and it's tight and not many chances are being created, it's either going to be settled by a mistake or a moment of magic. And the moment of magic came on the 49th minute in stoppage time in the first half. There's 4 minutes added on. Ball played forward. Harry Arter picks up the ball. Did he get tackled? He fell onto the ball. He just got up and left foot shot. Bryce Samba has absolutely no chance. And there's been questions about him trying to save some shots that he really should do in the past, but he's getting absolutely nowhere near that. It's a stunning goal. You have to sometimes as a neutral fan, you can say that was a great goal, but sometimes as a supporting fan, you have to stand up and say it was a bit of quality there, and it took Fulham into the lead at half time, which was very damaging for Forest. It's always worse to concede at half time because it's how you respond to that. You can't really respond. Rips up the manager's team talk of how we're going to approach the second half. But moment of quality from Harry Arter. He's got that in his locker. We've seen in the Championship and in the Premiership on many occasions. It was possible chance for handball for me. It would have been very soft if VAR had been in the Premier League. I don't really get the rule on handball. It might have probably been given, but for me it wasn't handball. But yeah, that was it at half time. For Fulham were leading 1-0. Into the second half, the big news at half time was that Joe Lolly, he'd gone down in the first half with a slight knock and he didn't return for the second half. He was replaced by Da Costa. Big loss for Joe Lolly. It's happened to him a few times. I think since the Huddersfield game, he picked up a knock, or the Bristol City game. He was a doubt for Derby. I mean, I'm glad he played against Derby, of course, because he got the goal. But if we're going to be risking him, we need to keep our best players fit. And at this moment in time, if he is playing for a little injury, he might even be playing with. We've heard in the past when people playing with injections. It happened with Lolly this season. In fact, when with his toe injury, when he wasn't playing to his full best that we know he can. So he did come off half time. Hopefully, again, it's not too much of a serious injury. But the way Da Costa has been playing since the lockdown, he's managed to get himself onto the pitch. He's looked okay. He probably had Forest's best chance of the second half as well. So a long forward ball from Bryce Samba. Good improvisation from Da Costa. Tries to head it in. It was on the edge of the 18-yard box. It would have been very surprised if it had gone in because he couldn't generate the power just to lift it over Marek Rodak. Maybe could have waited for it to come down and try to volley it, but saying it was good improvisation. Probably only really chance that Forest carved out. I can't remember Rodak having to make a save. Forest did survive a penalty scare themselves. Anthony Knockout, come on, he got the ball in the Forest area, sent Tobias Figueiredo to the ground. As Figueiredo was getting up, he brushed the ball with his hand. For me, it was a penalty. You see it in the Premier League, it would have been given. It wasn't the fact is that I think it hit his hand and then it's how he got up and it kind of moved his hand and it brushed the ball, changed the direction of the ball. And for me, they're the rules that it's going to be a penalty, but the referee didn't see it. They talk about Robert Jones in the preview, and I thought he had a really awful game. He did okay against Sheffield Wednesday. And the previous games he'd ref for Forest this season, but he was awful. I believe Joe Worrell, a free kick was lofted into the box for Forest. Even Cavallero flicked it out for a corner as Joe Worrell was chasing him down. Cavallero went to the ground, referee gave a free kick. Worrell's protesting his innocence. As you see the replay, that Cavallero's just kicked his own foot and gone to the ground. There was another one when Da Costa won the ball off Bobby Reed, and Bobby Reed clipped Da Costa, but the referee gave it a free kick to Fulham. So he didn't have the best game. I think for either fans would agree that he was a terrible ref that game, especially for the intensity of the game. Of course, one decision would have changed it all. But yeah, nothing really happened. Forest didn't create much. It wasn't really a creative performance, especially when we went a goal down. I think we struggle to kind of think what do we do now? We're so good at defending Leeds that we're not good at coming back from them. I can't think of too many games this season where we have come from behind and won. There's been plenty of times where we have gone behind and not created anything. Wigan game sticks out, for example. We're poor against them. It just begs the question, why did João Carvalho not come on? We've seen it on Twitter, Ryan Yates come on at half-time for Sambasso, who he looked up for it. Sambasso was a bit aggressive. Was probably fortunate not to see a yellow card given. I was very surprised that he didn't, but Ryan Yates going from at half-time, but it's another good run out for Sambasso, getting him ready for hopefully the playoff push or the last few games of the season. Then it was Da Costa, I believe Semedo come on as well, and then Diakarby. We don't have to talk about Diakarby, you just have to type it out of context football on Twitter, or Diakarby, or out of context Huddersfield Town, and you'll just see his touch. It's just, I don't know how he's done it. How he's got it so far, and it's not even like he's ran after it. It's just he's touched it. It's like, I'm not going to get that. But yeah, this begs the question. Like Forest fans are saying on Twitter, that Carvalho is on his way out. You'd think so. The way we had nothing going forward, Graben chased everything down again, but just look isolated in them sort of games where nothing's going for him. I don't think he, like I say, apart from the chance where Hector defended well, didn't really have a game where he could get at them. Even the balls going forward were going nowhere near him. But yeah, we're just missing that creative spark. Thiago Silva normally provides that, but he was some reason, it looked like he was playing out on the left as well this game, which was surprising because he's not. If he prefers playing in defensive mid or attacking mid, he doesn't look like playing left mid. Very surprised. I think it was more because Da Costa coming to the centre and Amiobi as well, which for the physicality threat, I guess. But no, I think it was a poor decision. But I was talking to someone about it, and they were saying, Carvalho is an okay player, but he's not really created much this season. I know, but when you've got Diakarby doing that, and you've got a £13 million man on the bench, the writing's on the wall. It must be for Carvalho, especially because, like I say, he should be coming on for that game. If he comes on for 20 minutes, and if he doesn't create nothing, he doesn't create nothing. I think he's got more of an attacking input than Diakarby. But yeah, that's how it ended. So Forest couldn't overtake Fulham and stayed in 5th position, and it was a really pressure moment for Forest. They could have really secured their playoff spot if they'd have carried on with the 3 points, or at least got a point. But fortunately for us, results went in our favour today. And on the Tuesday night as well, Blackburn went to Cardiff and won there, which was good result for us. So Cardiff couldn't close the gap to us. West Brom beat Derby, as I mentioned in the preview for the Fulham game. It was one of them that West Brom wanted us to win, so Fulham couldn't close the gap. We wanted West Brom to win, Derby needed Fulham, etc., etc. Probably the only team that really got results picked up round us was Swansea, but we'll come on to that in a moment. But yeah, so looking at the table now, Forest is still 5th. They are 5 points ahead of the closest challenger, Swansea, in 7th. So you'd like to think 2 wins would be enough for Forest in the next 2 games against Preston and Swansea, which is the big one. It just depends how that goes for us, really, deciding whether or not we have a playoff position or not. I think we've just got enough. Automatic promotion, I said at the start, was going to be a long shot, and now we're 10 points behind West Brom with 4 to go. I don't think, Leeds actually, so automatic promotion for us is over now, the dream. I don't think it was ever going to be a dream anyway. I think the playoffs, from probably the positions after we lost a few games after beating Leeds, I think it was always going to be the playoffs for us. But it's not always a bad thing. It's probably the best way to go, everyone says. Obviously, we're not there, but it's still a good way regardless. But just looking at the table, the fixtures, for the weekend. And we go to Preston. Just looking to see who Swansea have got, see if it's a tough task for them. So, yeah, Swansea host Leeds. So by the weekend, Forest could be 8 points clear of Swansea, the closest challengers for the playoff spot, and beat Preston, of course. They beat Preston. And we will be so close to the playoff spot, which is the goal. And hopefully if we secure that playoff spot, we might be able to rest a few players now, especially Lolly, who looks really tired at the moment going forward. We'll just have to see, only Forest could really mess it up from this position. I remember Baz Cooper on Twitter said, Forest are 8 points clear, surely they can't mess it up, and then Swansea scored. Hopefully the deep lying goal against Derby that we conceded doesn't mess Forest up this season. They'd love that, and so would half the Championship, reading the Forest timeline. But yeah, the next 2 games are pivotal in Forest season. I think all of Forest opponents they've got coming up, maybe Stoke might have been out of the danger by then, but the next 3, especially Preston, got a win today at Sheffield Wednesday, so they still are in the hunt. Just Swansea have been on a great run of form since football was allowed to come back. Barnsley, of course, are in there, so it is a tough running for Forest. And not probably on the paper side of things. If you looked at it, and you'd think, we'd at least take, for example, 8 points from that, will be fine. But you never know. We could lose 4 games in a row and find ourselves out of the playoffs. I hope that isn't the case. Some really tough games coming up against teams that sometimes we struggle against. So be interesting to see how we go going forward. But we've got to pick ourselves up now. Really should be 2 points more, and we should have created more against Fulham and at least got something out of that and tried. But it's football at the end of the day. Now it's no winning 2 and only 1 point in 6 if you look at it that way. But hopefully we'll go back to winning ways against Preston. I will be releasing my preview for that on the Friday, so keep an eye out for that. If you follow us on social media, you'll be able to see when that's released and you'll be able to listen to this. It's always hard with games like this. This feels like my Bristol City review all over again. There wasn't a lot to say about the game. Say moment of magic settled it. I don't think we won for the archives. If it ended 0-0, or even apart from the goal, it won't be replayed over and over again on the classics on Sky Sports, or if it's mentioned on social media by the clubs on this day and etc. It won't be. But we move on. So we lose as a team, we win as a team, as they say. We've just got to make sure now we're ready for Preston. 4 cup finals coming up for Forest. But hopefully they win them 2 of the remaining cup finals to secure that playoff spot. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening again. It's a very thrown together video, this one. It's not really a lot I could say on the game. Again, somehow I've managed to drag nearly 20 minutes out of it. But you all know what happened. It wasn't the most entertaining game to talk about. And normally a red card as well for Forest recently, but not even that. Not a few suspect challenges, but not many that were worthy of a red. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Forest now looking to get back to winning ways as they visit Deepdale on Saturday against Preston North End. You can hear my match preview for that. Like I say, just look out for our social media. Probably be uploaded Friday between lunchtime and evening time. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you're all well, as I say, and are staying safe. And I'm looking forward to Forest at the weekend, if they've not ruined it already, because it feels like now it's back to normal when Forest are playing. Like, for God's sake, what's going to happen this weekend, rather than, I can't wait for Forest to come back. But yeah, guys, if you like what you hear, give us a like, comment and subscribe as usual. Say any criticism you have, just give us a DM on Twitter. I'd love to know what you're all thinking about the videos. I mean, I know it's not a lot of viewers, but I'd love to know what people do think about it going forward, what you'd like to see more. Again, do you think the match previews and reviews are working or they're not? Do you think it'd be nice to have another guest on? Just stuff like that going forward, just to help me, like I say, take this channel to the next level. Yeah, guys, thanks for listening. This is my review for the Fulham game. Forest now winless in 2 going forward. And it's another stoppage time goal. I know it was obviously at the end stoppage time in first in the first half, but still, maybe lapses in concentration that we had seen this season. But now we're looking to go back to winning ways against Preston at Deepdale on Saturday. Watch out for my match review for that. And we'll hopefully get 3 points, a step closer to securing that playoff spot. As always, guys, I'll speak to you soon. And come on, you Reds.